1000 Wolf Sisters star Tammy Slaton has single-handedly embezzled all of the assets and put them in her own name. Her sister Amy is furious. She tells Tammy, "You'll never be good because you cheated on me, even though you're my own sister." Amy Slaton sat on the worn-out couch in her small Kentucky home, clutching a crumpled legal document in her shaking hands. Her heart pounded as she read the words again. All assets transferred to Tammy Slaton. Her bank account? Gone. Her savings? Empty. Even the house she had struggled to keep after her divorce. Tammy had put it in her own name. Amy's blood boiled as she stormed into Tammy's house, where her sister sat comfortably in a recliner, scrolling through her phone. "You'll never be good." Amy spat, her voice trembling with fury. "Because you cheated me, even though you're my own sister." Tammy looked up, an indifferent smirk on her face. "Oh, come on, Amy. You always whine about money. I just made sure it went to someone who actually knows how to use it." Amy clenched her fists. "You stole from me. From our family? How could you?" Tammy shrugged, unfazed. "You'll survive. You always do." Tears burned in Amy's eyes. "I trusted you, Tammy." Tammy sighed, tossing her phone onto the coffee table. "Look, I needed the money. You weren't using it right. I did what I had to do." Amy's stomach twisted with a mix of rage and heartbreak. "You act like family doesn't matter." "Family matters," Tammy said, her voice suddenly serious. "But survival matters more." Amy took a deep breath, wiping her tears. She realized then, Tammy was never going to change. The sister she had fought for, sacrificed for, loved unconditionally, had betrayed her completely. And maybe, just maybe, it was time to stop forgiving her. However, Tammy Slaton had never been a big fan of exercise. But after watching a crazy workout video online, she decided to try something new. She wanted to prove that fitness could be fun, even if it looked a little ridiculous. One morning, Tammy rolled out of bed, put on her workout clothes, and set up a camera to document her unusual exercise routine. She had created a plan with moves that no one had ever seen before. First, she started with the couch squat challenge. Instead of standing up from her couch like a normal person, she tried to launch herself into the air every time she stood up. The first attempt ended with her flopping back onto the cushions. The second try sent her rolling onto the floor. "Well, that's a start," she laughed, getting up. Next was the snack stretch. Tammy placed a bag of chips on the table and had to stretch as far as she could to grab one without actually standing up. It was a great core workout, until she got distracted and ate half the bag. Determined to keep going, she attempted the wiggle walk. Instead of jogging, she wiggled her entire body while shuffling forward. Her sister, Amy, walked into the room and froze. "What on earth are you doing?" Amy asked, trying not to laugh. "It's my new workout routine," Tammy said proudly, wiggling her arms like spaghetti. Amy shook her head. "Girl, you look like a dancing jellyfish," Tammy smirked. "But am I burning calories, though?" Amy had to admit, yes, Tammy was moving, sweating, and most importantly, having fun. They decided to make it a challenge, creating more weird exercises like the rolling potato, rolling across the floor, and the twerk squat, self-explanatory. By the end of the session, they were both laughing so hard their stomachs hurt. Tammy flopped onto the couch, out of breath but feeling accomplished. "Maybe this isn't the traditional workout," she said, wiping sweat off her forehead, "but at least it's my kind of workout." Amy chuckled. "As long as you're moving, it counts." Tammy uploaded the video to social media, and to her surprise, it went viral. People loved her creative and hilarious approach to fitness. She even got messages from fans who wanted to try the Tammy Workout Challenge. And just like that, Tammy proved that exercise doesn't have to be boring. It just has to be fun. However, Chris stood outside Tammy's door, taking a deep breath before knocking. He had been holding back his frustration for weeks, but today, he couldn't do it anymore. The door creaked open, and Tammy sat in her recliner, scrolling through her phone, barely looking up. "What do you want, Chris?" she asked, her tone flat. Chris stepped inside, crossing his arms. I want to talk, and you're gonna listen. Tammy rolled her eyes. Oh great, another lecture. Chris clenched his jaw but kept his voice steady. Tammy, we've all been busting our butts trying to help you. Amy, me, even Mama, but you don't even try. You said you wanted to lose weight, but every time I turn around, you're sneaking snacks, skipping therapy, and acting like we're the bad guys. Tammy huffed, setting her phone down. You don't get it, Chris. It ain't that easy. Chris sighed, pulling up a chair across from her. I do get it. I know it's hard, but you keep pushing everyone away, and we're running out of ways to help you. Tammy looked away, her expression softening. I don't want to be like this forever, she muttered. Then prove it, Chris said firmly. Dr. Smith gave you a plan. Stick to it. No more excuses, no more tomorrows. You gotta do this, Tammy. For yourself. Tammy swallowed hard, her eyes glistening. For once, she didn't have a comeback. Instead, she nodded, just a small nod, but enough to give Chris hope. Maybe this time, she was finally ready. However, Amy sighed as she looked around her messy house. It was officially spring, and that meant one thing, spring cleaning. As one of the 1,000 Olp sisters, moving around wasn't always easy, but she was determined to get her house in order. She grabbed a mop and started with the kitchen. All right, let's do this, she muttered, pushing the mop across the floor. Within minutes, she was sweating. Whew! Who knew cleaning could be a workout? Just then, her sister Tammy rolled in on her scooter. She raised an eyebrow. You? Cleaning? That's new. Amy smirked. Somebody's got to do it. Tammy snorted. Not me. Amy ignored her and moved to the living room, picking up old takeout boxes and empty soda cans. I swear, we live like raccoons, she muttered. Her little boys, Gage and Glenn, giggled from the couch, watching their mom struggle. Mama, you funny, Gage shouted. Amy laughed. Yeah, well, let's see how funny I am when I make you all clean your room. Gage and Glenn screamed and ran off, knowing what was coming. After hours of work, Amy finally sat on the couch, exhausted but proud. The house was cleaner than it had been in months. Tammy, who had been watching the whole time, rolled her eyes. Okay, fine. It does look better. Amy grinned. Told ya. Now help me keep it this way. Tammy groaned but picked up a broom. Ah, fine. But you owe me dinner. Amy chuckled. Deal. But you're ordering healthy. Tammy gasped. Now that's just cruel. As the sisters laughed and continued tidying up, Amy realized something. Spring cleaning wasn't just about the house. It was about starting fresh, making better choices, and most importantly, doing it together. However, Tammy and Amy Slaton, the famous 1,000 Olp sisters, were excited for Halloween. This year, they decided to go all out and find the best costumes ever. So, one October afternoon, they hopped into their car and drove to the biggest Halloween store in town. As soon as they entered, Amy gasped. Tammy, look at all these costumes. The store was packed with witches, vampires, ghosts, and even funny food costumes like giant pizzas and hot dogs. Tammy rolled her eyes. We need something unique, not just the usual spooky stuff. Amy giggled. How about we dress as a burger and fries? Tammy smirked. Only if I get to be the burger, you can be the fries. They laughed and continued browsing. Suddenly, Amy spotted something amazing. Tammy, look, a giant pumpkin costume. This is perfect for you. Tammy raised an eyebrow. Are you saying I look like a pumpkin? Amy tried not to laugh. No, but you'd look cute in it. Tammy shook her head. No way. I want something scary. She grabbed a werewolf costume. How about this? Amy clapped. Yes, and I'll be Little Red Riding Hood. They picked their costumes and went to the checkout. But as they reached the counter, Tammy frowned. Amy, how are we gonna fit these in the car? Amy sighed. Looks like we'll have to wear them home. And that's exactly what they did. Tammy drove home as a werewolf, and Amy sat beside her in her little Red Riding Hood outfit. The people in other cars stared, but they just laughed. "This is the best Halloween ever," Amy said. Tammy grinned. "Next year, I'm picking your costume. Get ready for something crazy." However, Tammy and Amy Stallone had always been inseparable. Weighing a combined 1,000 pounds, the sisters had been through countless struggles, from health scares to personal battles. But through it all, they found joy in the little moments. Moments that made their bond unbreakable. One morning, Amy woke up with an idea. "Tammy, let's see who can eat the biggest stack of pancakes," she said excitedly. Tammy, never one to back down from a food challenge, grinned. "You're on!" They stacked their pancakes high, covering them in syrup and whipped cream. With laughter and competitive spirit, they dug in. By the end, both were covered in syrup, laughing uncontrollably. "I think we both won," Tammy said, licking syrup off her fingers. One summer afternoon, the sisters decided to have a race on their mobility scooters. "Ready, set, go," Amy shouted. They zoomed down the street, giggling like kids, but halfway through, Tammy's scooter hit a bump, and she toppled over in slow motion. Amy gasped, then saw her sister laughing on the ground. "I look like a turtle stuck on its back," Tammy wheezed. Amy helped her up, and they laughed about it for weeks. One of their dreams was to enjoy a pool without feeling self-conscious. So they rented an entire water park for themselves. Dressed in colorful swimsuits, they floated in the lazy river, danced under the water fountains, and even went down the slides. "I feel free," Tammy shouted, splashing water. "Like a majestic whale," Amy teased. It was the happiest they had felt in years. One day, Amy surprised Tammy with a full makeover session. "We're gonna look fabulous," she announced. They put on glittery dresses, styled their hair, and applied makeup. When they looked in the mirror, Tammy gasped. "We're gorgeous," she said, twirling around. They took 100 selfies, giggling like teenagers. One evening, they decided to have a dance battle in their living room. Amy blasted their favorite songs, and they wiggled, twirled, and even tried twerking. Tammy ended up falling onto the couch, breathless. "You win," she panted. "But I had fun losing." Through all their ups and downs, the Stallone sisters knew one thing: life was best enjoyed together. Their journey was tough, but their best moments made it all worth it.